Whichever logo this filter lands on, I'm gonna give it a gross redesign. Okay, shell. All right, let's go. Okay, so my initial thought is to call it Shell Razor and find a really funny font for that. And then I wanna make this shell become like kind of like a really creepy, scary monster. So I think what I'm gonna do is kind of like distort this a little bit and then just get to drawing and illustrating a monster coming out of a clamshell. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just work on distorting it a little bit and kind of making it look a little more 3D than it does currently. Okay, so that's what I landed on, and then I'm gonna add another shell underneath it to kind of make it look more like it's a clam. Okay, so I brought it into Procreate, and now I'm gonna focus on just making it look like more jagged of a shell, kind of by tracing over it with the black pen that I'm using. Okay, so here is the basic outline, and now is where we get the fun part, where I'm gonna start adding in some things like an eyeball here and there, and then maybe like a tongue coming out that has, I don't know, like blood dripping off of it or something like that. So I'm gonna see what I can come up with for that part. Okay, instead of a tongue, I decided to make these like tentacles that are dripping blood. So now I need to add just like kind of like the idea of some suction cups on them. And then I also really want to add some teeth on the inside of the shell here and there. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna do for the drawing is just add in a bunch of tiny little lines to kind of give it more of like a, I don't know, like old effect, but also add in some kind of shading here and there. Okay, here is the final illustration. Now it's time to start coloring it in. So I do want to use the same original red and yellow. Then I want to make the inner part of the mouth be like a much darker red. Now I think it could be cool to make the tentacles almost like a dark shade of purple to kind of look like they're made of oil. Okay, here is how the final illustration came out. Now I found this really cool font. I'm gonna type out Shell Razor, and here is the final result. Honestly, I am in love with how this one came out. I think my illustration is so fun. It almost looks like a video game boss that you would see in like Zelda. I just really am happy with how it came out, and I really think the font just kind of elevates the whole thing. Let me know what you think about this one in the comments.